Namaste, everybody. How is everybody?
Namaste.
Namaste, namaste. Today we have a very special course, and there is Ananda Devi Ma. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening. Good
morning
evening.
here. Good evening there.
Mhm.
8:30 in India. Yes. So what a great honor it is for us to do this course together this time. Though mostly it'll be Ananda Devi, and I will join every now and then. So this course is Devi Meditation, the power of prayer and mantras. And if I can think of one individual in the world who sung the most beautiful prayers and mantras, that is Ananda Devi. So I'm sure you have heard her Devi prayer, which is played in yoga centers, healing centers all around the world. And it's one of my favorite chants that we play in many Devi Circle workshops. So she's a singer, a divine singer. She has other albums also of mantras. She has some very good mantras for Lakshmi Ma, Saraswati Ma, and beautiful prayers. And Ananda Devi, most of you know her already. She is the co-president of Devi Circle Europe. We have now three places where Devi Circle is growing: India, Europe, and America. And she's actually the president. There is no co-president. We have co-presidents in other places, but right now we only have a single president. So she is doing that. She has her Shakti Yoga path, which is path she created, I think, in 2012, I believe, or 2011, sometime then. And before then, she has taught, thousands of students meditation, breath work, especially coming from transcendental meditation back in the days with Maharshi Yogi, which was, I think, 1979, 80. For 20 years, she was very close in that movement, very close to Mahesh Yogi himself. And then his student, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, she remembers seeing Sri Sri Ravi when he was a 17 or 18-year-old boy, right? That's when he came to the ashram, and Ananda Devi was there too. So they were very close. She spread out of living all over Europe, and this is in 1990s. So she was very senior teacher in Art of Living, and then she started her own path, something to do with, I think, the divine feminine. That was the awakening, the Shakti yoga path. And now we're joining together even more. We are doing some work. We have done the audio book, A Thousand Seeds of Joy, now is available, going to be available soon, where she speaks in the goddess voice and I speak like Ananda Karunesh. So I ask the questions and she answers all the questions with the great Lakshmi ji voice. And this will be out, I think, maybe next year sometime. Yeah. So we will play maybe one excerpt from that today or maybe tomorrow. Yeah. So with that, um, I'm such an honor it is. I'm so delighted to do this with you. This is a time where we really need the power of prayer and mantras. The world is in not a good shape right now, and anything can happen. And the more people meditate, the more people do mantras, it will increase the probability of us having good outcomes. Like anything can happen. A third world war can happen. I mean, with the way things are right now, we really need to. This is a time where we really need the power of prayer and as you might have noticed, some things are not working. And sometimes it's impossible. You don't know what to do. That's when you surrender. And that's when you go with mantras, prayers. So with that, I will turn this over to you, Ananda Devi Ma. So what we will do is you will do your, I think, guided meditation. You will give a talk, then guided meditation. And then I will come in later when you ask me to, and we'll discuss a little bit about soul feelings. And after you give your meditation and wisdom on, I think, restlessness, you're going to talk about that today. And then we'll do then. Yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention. She's also coming out with books now. I forgot to mention completely. And there's this Saint Germain, who in French we call him Saint Germain, and she has books with him. And this great ascended master is giving a lot of wisdom for these times to her. So he's given some decrees, teachings, and these decrees she will share also at the end. So it's going to be an amazing workshop for 3 days. Just surrender, surrender. That's my invitation to you. That's the energy for this workshop. So over to you, Ananda Devi Ma, and then I'll be here. Just let me know when you want me to join. Yeah.
Namaste. Thank you, Ananda Karunesh, for such a wonderful, nice introduction. um, I think it is really the time where the spiritual communities have to come together and work together. Very, very important. And so I'm very happy to be part of the Devi Circle movement, Path of Joy, and also to meet other spiritual communities, especially next year. I'm looking forward to all this. Now about meditation. I would like to know, I suppose many of you have tried meditation already, but how many of you have not tried meditation? Can we see that? Yeah, it looks like everybody knows, at least has an idea about it, what meditation is, right? But I'm aware that you have tried different kinds of meditation. Not all of you have done the same kind of meditation. There are so many different kinds of meditation out there. Buddhist meditation, vipassana, mindfulness, and all kinds of meditation, observing the breath, observing the body. And there are also mantra meditations. And I would like to tell you a little bit more about mantra meditation and then give you a taste of it, if you have not already done it. Now, let us look into this chart. This chart explains what is going on in the mind and in the consciousness when we meditate. This is a symbol of the mind, an image for the mind. The mind has a surface level, it's compared to the water. Water is moved in waves, and like that, the mind is moved in waves and different thoughts and ideas, etc. That is the surface level of our mind. That's our conscious thinking level. And then the mind has deeper levels, which are unconscious, in which we have no awareness. We can also say these are the brain areas which we are not using consciously. And for most people, this is about 20% active mind and 80% unconscious mind, unconsciousness. So the areas which we are not able to involve actively. So most people use only a very small percentage of their mind. And that means, in other words, that also only around 20% of all our knowledge and thinking and action is correct and is in accordance with life and with evolution. So many people all over the world are making many mistakes, and this leads to to all the problems in the world. Using such a small part of our mental potential leads to personal problems, health problems, family problems, and all of us know what I'm speaking about. And also economical problems, political problems, all kinds of problems in the world, ecology, education, and all this. It comes, the only reason for creating problems, because these are all man-made problems, right? So the only reason for that is that people usually use only such a small percentage of their mind, 20% instead of 100%. That leads to wrong feelings, unpleasant negative feelings, wrong understanding, and wrong actions. So it is important to use a greater percentage of our mind. Now, the mind, the subconscious, is not only unused and dormant, like asleep. It is also full of our past impressions, samskaras. They are all stored in our subconsciousness. They are these little stars here, symbolize these stresses. And with every strong impression which we cannot dissolve, we get more and more in stresses in our subconscious. And that leads, if it accumulates over many years and decades, that leads to unpleasant emotions like fear, anger, sadness, disappointment, depression or aggression. So all these are an expression of too much stress in our subconscious. Originally, and in their inner nature, every human being is good. Every human being is divine and is loving and beautiful. But if they accumulate too much stress from the environment during their lifetime, then their mind gets distorted and then they react in the wrong way. So if you have some family member which is vexing you with whatever, suddenly aggression or anger, or which is in depression, then just know this is not their nature. It is not their nature. It is just too much stress in the subconscious, and they don't know how to dissolve that stress. And for that, there is a way, and that is deep meditation. So today, we need meditation more than at any other time. Because, personal stress leads to stress in the family. Stress in the family leads to stress in society. And if that becomes too much, then wars start to happen. And we are in a critical situation at the moment. So the only antidote to war is inner peace. And for that, because there is a field of consciousness, of collective consciousness of all the human beings on the planet, for that, it is important that as many people as possible meditate, go deep inside, connect with their divine self, with the divine eternal part in them, and experience inner peace. And this peace radiates through the whole world, through the whole collective consciousness. So one can say that every person who sits at home fighting with their family or fighting with their neighbors contributes to wars in the world, to war, aggression, and killing. And every person who sits at home goes into meditation and radiates peace and silence and happiness, is radiating that through the whole collective consciousness. There's a grid of consciousness around the whole planet. And every person who's doing that in their deep meditation contributes to peace. So that is the reason why it is very, very important at this time that as many people as possible meditate. And the other counteraction for war is also prayer. So these two things, meditation, inner peace, no? And prayer. And we want to look into this weekend a little more. Now, we have not yet looked at this. What is beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, and beyond the ego, beyond our individuality is the self. We can also say the soul or pure consciousness or the absolute. It is that level of life which is divine and unchanging and eternal and infinite. Here we have the symbol from mathematics for infinity. So that is the transcendental level of life. And in Sanskrit, we would call it Atman or Brahman. Atman is Brahman, you know that. So our individual self is the same as the divine self. And what we do when we meditate is that we take a mantra and think the mantra from the surface of the mind, and it leads our mind deeper and deeper and deeper, our consciousness. And then we drop the mantra, we let go. And the moment when we let go of the mantra, we drop into the self. And then you experience a few moments of silence and peacefulness. And without thoughts, without breath, just very quiet and peaceful. And then some stress gets released in your subconscious. When that stress gets released, the intrapsychic energy which was bound in that stress flows up and you come out with thoughts. And then you are again on the surface level of the mind and you have some thoughts. And that is correct. It belongs to meditation. So don't expect to sit in meditation for half an hour without any thought, like a Buddha, right? This doesn't happen. So some thoughts will come, and when you become aware of the thoughts, then it is time to take the mantra again and go inside again. You think the mantra, you listen to the sound of the mantra, you let go, you drop it. The moment when you drop it and let go, you transcend again into the self, into that quiet and silent, peaceful state of consciousness. And that is actually called turiya or samadhi. And then again, for a few moments, you experience that silence, and again, some stress gets dissolved, and you come out with other thoughts. Again, think of something. So this happens a few times in every meditation. Thinking the mantra, listening to it, letting go, transcending a few moments of peacefulness and silence, and then coming out with thoughts. So this is the technique which we use. And it is very easy to meditate with a mantra and to transcend with a mantra. For that, we should not know the meaning of the mantra or think about the meaning of the mantra. Because if you're thinking about it, you keep your awareness here in the thinking level. So it's just the sound. You just listen to the sound, go inside, let go and drop it. Now, not everybody is using the same mantra. There are certain numbers of mantras which are good for meditation. And these are called bija mantras. They're very short. So it is very difficult to transcend, at least as a beginner, to transcend with something like the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, right? Om Triambakam Yajamahe, etc. So with a very long mantra or with a Gayatri mantra, you don't use them for meditation. You will chant them. So for meditation, we use short mantras, bija mantras. And you cannot just select a mantra for yourself from a book or from the internet because you don't know which one is the right mantra for you. For that, you need a trained teacher who can initiate you properly with a Guru Puja. And in our tradition, as well as in the transcendental meditation, as also in other meditations, which base on the Vedic tradition. One does a Guru Puja, connects oneself to the Vedic masters, and invites them there, and they come and they give the right mantra. They select the right mantra. So the teacher is only something like a loudspeaker for the masters in that moment when he gives the mantra. So I would really not recommend to choose a mantra for yourself because you don't know which is the best one for you. Many people, for instance, they choose the mantra Om because it's a very famous mantra. And my teachers always said one should not meditate with Om. Now you may be amazed to hear that. Om is a very good mantra for chanting it aloud, but not for meditation. Because it is a mantra for monks only, for people who want to renounce the world. So if you want to have a family and children and friends and success in the world or in a job, then you should not meditate with Om because it takes everything away from you and makes you like a monk. But if you want to renounce the world and live in a monastery or an ashram, then you can meditate with Om. So Om is very good for chanting aloud. It creates an atmosphere of peace and relaxation, but we don't use it for meditation. So would you like to try a guided meditation with me? Yeah? Okay, thank you. I see some thumbs up. So in this guided meditation, I will first guide you inside, and then I will let you think one mantra, which is a very common mantra, which many people use, and it is good. It has positive effects. The mantras which we use have no negative side effects. But if you then really want to go deeper with this technique of mantra meditation, then it is best if you get initiated by a teacher and get your personal mantra. I just wanted to say that before we start. So, should we start? Then please sit comfortably. You may also dim the light a little bit if you like. I think I will also do that. In meditation, we always sit in a comfortable sitting position. And we have our spine upright. You may lean against something. You may lean against a pillow or against the wall. You may sit cross-legged on a bed or on the floor if you like. You may also sit on a chair or on a sofa. It doesn't matter how you sit. Only you should be sitting, should not be in the lying position. Otherwise, you have the tendency to fall asleep. And the hands should be with the palms up. You can put them like this, or you can put them like this on your knees with the palms up. So let us sit comfortably. And close the eyes. Take a deep breath in and let go. Another deep breath. And relax. And one more deep breath. And breathe out. First, listen to the sounds in your environment. You may hear some traffic. You may hear some dogs barking or some playing children. Whatever it is, be in harmony with the sounds in the environment. Now again, take a deep breath and let go. Become aware of your thoughts. Whether pleasant thoughts or unpleasant thoughts, accept them. Take a deep breath again and breathe out. Let go. Become aware of your feelings. Be in harmony with your feelings. Now think the mantra Shyam. Into its sound and let go. And when other thoughts are coming, you come back to the mantra effortlessly. Shyam. Let go, drop it. And take the mantra again. Take it from deep inside, from the heart. Listen to its vibration and let go. Shyam. Go. And again, effortlessly take the mantra. Listen to its sound, vibration, and drop it. Shia. Continue on your own. Whenever you get lost in thoughts, effortlessly come back to the mantra. Stop thinking the mantra. Become aware of your feelings. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your body and surroundings. And slowly, gradually, in your own speed, you may open the eyes. And slowly open the eyes. Hmm? Is everybody back? Can you lift your hand? Was it good? Let me see. Oh, very good. So now you had a little taste of a meditation with a mantra. How many of you noticed that it was deeper and easier than what you may have tried before? more quiet. How many of you felt quiet? You can write it in the chat. Just write I. That's enough. Or if you have had some moments of quietness and peacefulness without thoughts and without breath, or just very, very little breath, you also write I in the chat. I see many of you had it. Very good. And if you feel more peaceful and more relaxed now after the meditation than before, again you write I or yes or yes. Very good, very good. So you see, it is very easy to go deep with the mantra meditation. One doesn't feel like talking afterwards, isn't it? That is why we always say meditation with a mantra is the most easy technique, and it leads you most deep. It leads you to transcending the body, transcending the breath, transcending the mind, transcending the ego. You're transcending everything which is relative and going into the absolute, the transcendence, which is the divine soul, self, the Atman. It's very easy to reach that with a mantra. Much more difficult to reach it with other techniques. So we do this meditation with the mantra twice a day, morning and evening. Not on full stomach, we meditate before a meal. So before breakfast and before dinner is the ideal time. 20 minutes is enough, 20 to maximum 30 minutes. With this meditation, well, you may call it Shakti meditation. With this mantra meditation or Shakti meditation, you should not meditate longer than half an hour as a beginner. Very important. Because it leads you so deep and it is so powerful that for a beginner, for someone who is just starting it, more than half an hour would be too strong and too much. So it's very important. If you want to do this regularly, it is fine. You can do it in the morning before breakfast, in the evening before dinner, or at night before sleeping. If you didn't have time before dinner, you can do it before sleeping. Meditate in a quiet and undisturbed place. And just close the eyes and think the mantra in a relaxed way and let go. 20 to maximum 30 minutes, not more. You know what can happen if you meditate too much as a beginner? I said it could be too strong, right? Too strong means either you have such a deep experience of samadhi that you get scared because it is so unknown to you and so unusual. Suddenly breathing stops, body gets stiff, you can't move. It's very, very deep and very strong if you have that for a longer time. So that could happen. And we don't want you to get scared from too deep experiences. Or the other thing which may happen is that too much stress comes out at once, and then you may feel very unpleasant. So both these extremes we want to avoid. Because of that, we say in the first few years of meditation with a mantra, one should not do more than 20 or maximum 30 minutes. Then later, when you have dissolved most of your stresses and tensions and samskaras in the subconscious, and when you are more used to the experience of transcending of turiya state, Then you can meditate longer, but not immediately in the beginning. You will see that it is more powerful than just sitting and observing the body or the breath. Mhm. If you have felt that, type yes in the in the chat. So we have some feedback from you. Huh? Good. If you have any questions, you also please type the questions in the chat. And now I think we could have 5 minutes break, 5 to 7 minutes break. Yeah. And then we'll meet again. Say Gurudev. So, what should we continue? If you enjoyed this meditation with the mantra, then it would be good for you to continue to do mantra meditation with your own personal mantra. That is still better than using this general mantra, because your own personal mantra resonates harmoniously with your nervous system, right? So for that, we have a few meditation teachers here. Shakti meditation, Vaishnavi is there, and I think, yeah, hello. And Satish Ji must be here, and Wayne and others. So if you want to learn your own personal mantra, then you should be initiated by a trained Shakti meditation teacher. You can find them on our Shakti meditation website. Vaishnavi, can you please type it in the chat, the link to our website? So it's shakti-meditation.com or shakti.meditation.com. I'm not 100% sure about it. So if you would please check and type it into the chat. And there you can find the teachers in your area or your country where you can get initiated. And if you live in India, it would be best you contact Satish. Satish, if you're here, would you please also type into the chat how they can contact you? Your email address and your phone number. So then they can contact you for getting a personal mantra. Good. Ananda Karunesh. Ananda ji.
I was waiting for you to call me.
Would you like to say something?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it has been, I was feeling so much surrender.
Hmm.
Mantra is such a great path for just melting, merging. And do you want me to share some wisdom I was receiving about
Please do.
mantra? And okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
So something very beautiful was coming, and it often comes at these times. So I had not planned on saying any of these things, but it's flowing, so I want to share. So we just experience such beautiful surrender. The mantra has this emptiness. It is a sound, it is vibrating with divine energy. So there's no mind in it. There's no emotions, there's no stories, there's nothing. It's just a primordial sound. And we all have different soul paths. So, as Ananda Devi said, personal mantras can be good for your soul because your soul path has chosen a certain journey. So, it's very simple with mantra to go into your higher self, higher chakras. Your chakras from heart, then your Vishuddhi, throat chakra, Agna, third eye, higher self, seventh chakra. Mantras really allow very easy surrender into these higher places. So the wisdom that was coming right now, something very immense, deep actually, because you can spend, there's always a middle way, there's a path in life for souls to walk on. So one can spend years doing mantra, right? And your higher self will be more and more connected with you. And almost like you're enlightened, you can be that place. But something can still remain in the lower three chakras. That is the wisdom that was coming. So those lower three chakras become dormant because you're surrendering so much from the higher. They don't dissolve some of the issues, but they become dormant. But because you don't experience them and you have created a good path, a good life, and you're doing mantras and a balanced life, you're staying in that joy. And still, some challenges come because the soul wants to learn something that still it has not released in the lower chakras. So, then what do we do? How do we go into the lower chakras? That's the wisdom. So, the path there is you can almost see this as the polarity. Mantra is deep surrender into the primordial sound, higher self. The polarity of that is inquiry, self inquiry. So you inquire within. And self inquiry is important because that is the place of lower chakras. In the higher chakras, self is unbound, it's free. You just surrender, surrender. So there's not much that you can do from that place to go into the lower chakras. Lower chakras is where the residual remains. Even if you're enlightened, sometimes a residual remains. So the more enlightened you are, less personality you will have. Even enlightened masters, you will see have personalities. You can sense a personality. And if you're really more enlightened, that personality will feel less to people. You don't have that personality because that's connected to your lower chakras. You become more emptiness, more emptiness. So, self inquiry, what is that? Who would you want to be? What do you think your higher self is? Isn't it love? Isn't it primordial joy? Isn't it immense compassion? This is what you would think, right? It's all these expansive feelings of the soul, right? Which we call soul feelings in the book. They're different from emotions because emotions are connected to your ego, your small self, like anger, hate, envy, fear. So these emotions are finite and they revolve around your ego. But soul feelings are expansive. They are what connect you to the universe. The problem uh, that people may have is if the lower chakra issues become dormant, they never visit them. So you might have a great rishi who goes on a mountain, meditates for 7 years, and they're in this blissful state for most of the time. There is no relationships, there's no people. Then they come down on earth into the marketplace after 7, 8 years, and then there was that bliss, and now they have to deal with the mind. They have to deal with the mind. They go into the lower chakras. Somebody disturbs them, and the issue is still there, the residual. the little residual anger is still there. And anger comes, and you suddenly are surprised because you are the great Rishi. You've meditated for 7, 8 years. What happened? This is where self inquiry comes in. You have to actually, like a diamond cuts a diamond, you have to use the thought, inquire. Inquire, what is love? What is joy? We say primordial joy, but what is it? Can you really arouse those moments of joy and find out what is it? Do you really think it is the joy that you think it is? This is the question. We're not asking you to stick with an answer because answer will keep changing. Soul feelings are so expansive that you will feel, I know this is love. And then another time you go into a deeper emptiness. After, let's say, a mantra meditation, you are going for a walk. And because you've also committed to do self-inquiry, you ask, what is love? And that thought is there sometimes. And suddenly there's an aha moment. Oh, I can feel the suffering of even this tree or this animal or some old person that you would not even look at properly. And suddenly you have that expansion in you, that emptiness. And then you suddenly see that, and a wave comes, a wave of love, and you go, oh, I know love even deeper. So this will happen when you keep asking yourself, who am I? What is joy? What is love? What is compassion? And start doing two things with it, which is also Parvati ji is giving this wisdom. There is this concept of emptiness, as you know, in Buddhism, shunyata. So ask yourself, what is emptiness of joy? What is joy? Then what is emptiness of joy? So, joy, you're eating an ice cream, you're having joy. But what would be emptiness of joy? When you're eating ice cream, a lot of thoughts are there, some anxieties are there, some fears are there about what's going to happen tomorrow with your job or whatever, and you're still eating ice cream. So the joy of ice cream is there, but the mind is also there. So in each of these joyful moments, when you watch a sunset, when you eat the ice cream, when you simply love somebody, when you are just feeling happy, see if there is even more emptiness. Mind is dropped even more. So, can you eat that ice cream? Just completely surrender to the ice cream. No mind. You have so many moments of joy throughout the day. How many of them are with emptiness, emptiness of the mind? So, emptiness of joy is emptying the mind when you are experiencing any joyful moment, which means you become mindful, you surrender to the present moment. You be in the joy of that moment without the mind. And the second concept you can ask with every soul feeling, whether love, joy, compassion, is what is the bliss of this feeling? Emptiness and bliss. Because you may not joy, but there is even a greater joy. Remember that childhood when you were sometimes the word wonder years comes, wonder moments. You would feel so connected with nature. And sometimes, even now, just for a brief moment, you have that connection and you have tears in your eyes sometimes. Oh, this is how I used to feel. Because we forget how profound these soul feelings are. So today, just this came that when you are trying to create a balance, go deep in the higher self, do mantras, but also continuous self-inquiry in the meditation, which is not mix it ever. Mantra time is mantra time. No self-inquiry then. That is mantra time. But self-inquiry can come in, going for a walk, you're looking at yourself, and there's certain issues are still arising. Even though you do meditation, you still get angry. You still have moments sometimes when you get anxious. So then go into self-inquiry. That are you deeply, deeply connected to your soul? And are there issues that are dormant? And then can you release the mind when you're meeting the present moment, which is the emptiness? So, emptiness, more emptiness, more emptiness of every soul feeling. Take any soul feeling, compassion. What would be emptiness of compassion? Can anybody, let's say in chat, guess what is emptiness of compassion? Can you take a guess? What would that be? Love. So, forgiveness. Okay. So, other soul feelings, yes. Unconditional love. So, compassion sometimes gives us a feeling of we look at somebody suffering and then we go, oh, I feel so bad for them. And we feel that's compassion. We also get into their pain. Somebody lost a loved one, somebody died, you go meet them, and you feel their pain, and you think that is compassion, right? So sometimes we think feeling somebody's suffering and even suffering with them is compassion. And this is where you have to go deep. Yes, you have empathy, you feel their pain, but then after you feel it, you dissolve it, you go into the emptiness. Compassion is not holding on to suffering, even somebody else is suffering, right? Compassion comes from a place of joy. My name, the Lakshmi ji, I asked them, Ananda Karunesh. Karunesh is compassionate one, Ananda is joy. Compassion that comes from joy. So, of course, you feel empathy for a moment. You have to connect, you feel that. But then you go dissolve the mind. The mind is always infecting these soul feelings. Mind will come in joy, mind will come in compassion, mind will come in everything, in love. How many times love? Why do we say unconditional love? Because there's a mind in the love. There are hidden expectations, there are hidden agendas, there's some self interest, there's something hidden there. Can you empty that more? That's emptiness of love. My love is like clear water, empty, right? So, this is a process of inquiry where even though you are getting into the higher self, you're getting into states of joy, love, all of that. With inquiry, we even realize, oh, I was still stuck here. Oh, there was an agenda here. Oh, I was holding on to some anger here. So, working on lower chakras, Lakshmi ji and goddesses say, is even available for enlightened masters. Because remember, if you were totally enlightened, then you would be like, there are people like that. Then you would have a rainbow body. You would become completely light. So if you have a physical body, if you have a sense of physicalness, there's still some work to be done in lower chakras. There is still some residual, and there's still some self-inquiry that's possible. So emptiness of a soul feeling, releasing the mind, and bliss of a soul feeling, inviting that primordial essence. and become totally empty, empty, empty compassion, then something opens up, like a deep caring for the universe. That'll come from the higher self because you become so empty. In that, you connect with the stars. You might even see suffering in other universes. So your compassion might even get deeper. So, bliss of a soul feeling, getting the higher self in, and emptiness of a soul feeling, removing the mind. And this is the process of self inquiry. So, this is what I wanted to share, Ananda Devi, about soul feelings, how to purify them, and how to embody them through self inquiry, which is a separate process. You'd never do that with mantra. Mantra is just getting to know the higher self. Inquiry is removing what you're not. Mantra is becoming what you are. Yeah, you like that?
Yes, beautifully said. Yeah, the mantra
Um,
leads you inside to your higher self, to what you really are, right? Mm.
yes.
And then that which needs to be removed by self-inquiry, these residues in the lower chakras, these emotions, this is what we call stress, and they come out. They come up to the surface, right? And
And
then,
mantra would probably do that anyway. But
yes,
sometimes what happens is people, what goddesses also say is sometimes people get so, this includes even great enlightened masters, they get the technique of staying in the bliss.
yeah.
Even Osho would say that he would keep his consciousness here somewhere, just
Mhm.
below his third eye. He would say that many times. He
Mhm.
didn't care about the body.
But the bliss is up here.
Yeah, but he would say this, right? Osho's enlightened
Okay.
masters, he would say he would keep it here. I mean, it's also here. Third eye is pretty good, and this is very good. But here's the wisdom with that, which is coming in the next book. Even with that much enlightenment,
Mhm.
the idea is to take that enlightenment and bring it to the lower chakras where there might be still some residues. Some
Yes,
residues which are DNA level, which are
right.
body. Because if there's nothing there, you'd be rainbow body, right? So if you don't have a body of light, there is something there in lower chakras. So everybody can get more light
Yeah.
into that. And that I think is profound coming from Goddess Parvati. But it goes very well. I mean, mantra is the way to at least create the space. If some nobody does this meditation mantra, they just have a life of struggle. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
So it has to be done.
Mhm. I agree with that. And also, this is a constant process to purify ourselves from lower feelings or from negativity or from stresses, what you call residues in the lower chakras, because we are constantly also taking stress from the environment and processing it through our own body. So, uh, uh, my master Maharishi, he said, personal peace is like a football kicked around by all other people. Or,
That
yeah,
reminds me, yeah,
isn't it? Or
yeah,
we are the washing machines of the nation, washing the dirt which we absorbed from the environment. So it is not only our own things which we have to work out, but also that from our family, from our colleagues, from people whom we meet in the traffic, and from everybody with whom we come in contact.
yeah.
So,
Like an example, you're in traffic and
mm,
somebody honks at you, and you think they should not have, honked at you.
yeah,
And then you get angry. And with that anger, all the negativity around, law of attraction gets more into your body, which was not even yours, because you got so angry at him. Then you open the door, and they might have negative energies, whatever, they come into your body. And suddenly you were just driving, and by not being careful, you got into anger, you allowed those energies to come in, and now all the negativity is in you. And as you were saying, now you've become the washing machine. You are processing that anger of someone else in your body. And it's instead of that, if you had just learned the art of meditation, mantra, you could have just done a mantra protect your body, protect your aura, and no energy comes in. That would be. And you were going to talk about restlessness or something. Maybe we could.
Yes, we will speak about that.
Yeah.
But I would like to emphasize that there is a constant exchange of energy between us and the environment. If you meet any person, if you were in the same room or in a tram or in a bus or in the traffic somewhere, or walking through a shopping mall with many people, just anybody who comes near you and goes through your aura leaves some of their own residues in your aura, and you leave some of your light and happiness in their aura. There's constant exchange of energies going on between people. You don't have to be angry or anything. You're just happily and normally coming into a shopping mall after your meditation. You feel very peaceful. And then when you come home, how do you feel? Dirty and messed up, not quite yourself. Then we have different techniques to clean our aura again from all these contacts and all these impurities which came in.
Yeah.
About that subject, I will speak tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
very
Yes.
important to know, you know. We don't have to be in an angry state to absorb the vibrations of the environment. We are in a normal state. We can come there happily into a crowd, and then when we come out of the crowd, we are not ourselves anymore. We have picked up so many things because a constant exchange of energies happens with the environment. It's good for the other people.
I know. I mean, we go, they take our good energy, and but
So that's
that's
why
our
he
same.
said,
That
that's
is
why
our
he said,
seva.
yeah, it's our job, no? We
Yeah.
are light, we're bringing the light. Well, that's why he said we are the washing machines of the nation.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is something which one cannot avoid, and which is also good for the other people whom we meet. And it's also a sign of compassion to share your own happiness and your own light with those who need it, right? But then you want to come back to yourself and you want to be pure again. For that, we have different techniques. About that, I will speak tomorrow. Hmm?
Yes.
Now, should I say a little bit about restlessness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's listen to you about
Mhm.
forms of restlessness. Yes.
So there are 5 kinds of restlessness. The first one is restlessness in the environment. Sometimes you come to a place and you feel the atmosphere there is not okay. You feel uneasy in certain places. I think all of you may have noticed that. This comes because the atmosphere in that place is disturbed, is somehow negative, because something negative happened there in the past. For instance, if you get a new flat, you come to a new place, and somebody who lived there before has been depressed, you feel that depression is still hanging in the air, in the atmosphere. Or if you come to places like pubs or something like that, full of smoke and all these things, where people are getting drunk, you don't feel well in such a place. It is some uneasiness. It doesn't feel pure, doesn't feel good, right? Or if you come to places where crimes happened in the past, I noticed that the worst place which I have visited in the years when I was traveling a lot was in Rome, the Colosseum in Rome, where 2,000 years ago the Christians had been killed by the lions, and like an amusement for the people, or the fights between gladiators and things like that. So many terrible things happened in that place, and that place has not been purified until now. It is still all these crimes and all this violence and all these spirits of people who died there, they're still somehow hanging in the air. So if you come to any place with a negative atmosphere, you can do something to change the atmosphere and to purify the place. One is you can burn a candle for 3 days and nights in that place. Just leave it burning for 3 days and nights. And you can go around through all, if it's a house or a flat, you can go around through the whole place with incense. And you go out through all the rooms with burning incense. That also purifies the atmosphere. So candlelight, 3 days and nights. Incense is purifying. Also camphor light. And then chanting or playing mantras. You can chant mantras or you can play some mantras from YouTube or from somewhere. These also purify the atmosphere very much. And then, of course, also singing, dancing, meditation, and playing children. All this removes the stress and the negative vibration in the atmosphere of a place and purifies it. You can shift the whole atmosphere with these things. So meditation, mantras, chanting mantras, singing, dancing, and playing children. Everything which is creating joy and peace. That purifies a place and removes the atmosphere, the restlessness in the environment. The second kind of restlessness is restlessness in the body. I think all of us know that, no? Sometimes if you want to sit in meditation and want to go deep and relax, all that is happening is huh? So your body is restless, or you want to sleep and your legs are restless and you can't get relaxation. So this physical restlessness comes from either overwork, too much work, not enough sleep, or from eating too much or eating the wrong kind of food. We know that, for instance, if one eats a lot of sugar, that leads to physical restlessness. And also if we overeat, if we eat too much, the body also becomes restless. So that also already indicates how we can remove that physical restlessness. One thing is yoga asanas. So if you do yoga, you remove physical restlessness from the body. And the other thing is 1 or 2 days of fasting. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to be full fasting, but perhaps fasting on fruits or on juices or on water with honey, whatever. So it's a little bit of fasting 1 or 2 days. That also removes the restlessness from the body. And then it becomes peaceful again, and then you can meditate better and sleep better. So the third kind of restlessness is restlessness in the mind. You know that too. Sometimes you want to sleep at night and you lie in bed and the same kind of problem is going around in your mind. Same problem is going around. Whole merry-go-round is going around. Or you want to meditate and the same story is going around in your mind. What somebody said, and what I should have said, and how dare that person say this, all this, whatever. Some stories are going around in your mind. And often these are also very strong desires. So if you have a very strong feverish desire, and if you think, oh, I can only be happy if I have achieved this or that, with this feverishness, your mind cannot find rest. It goes on and on about your desires or your problems or your wishes or your fears, circling around in your mind. Then what helps is to become aware and to have some discrimination. Is this problem which is going around in my mind, is it a fleeting problem or is it a permanent problem? Or this desire, this intense desire which I have, this feverishness, is it for something which is permanent and eternal? Will it stay with me after this life, after I drop the body? Or is it something transient, something fleeting, something impermanent? So that kind of discrimination between that which is lasting and eternal and that which is temporary and relative and changing, this discrimination helps you to get centered again and to let go of that restlessness. So it needs a little bit of viveka, discrimination. When I was a small child, if I was crying for something or anything happened, my mother would always say, oh, don't worry, until your grandmother it is gone. So a little bit more of this attitude. Okay. In 10 years, that problem will be gone. You may have other problems, but this one will be solved. Or this wish will be fulfilled. You may have other wishes, but this one will be fulfilled. Have you noticed that in your life? Yeah? Everything is changing. And if you become aware of it, that everything is changing, then you can let go and relax. And that removes the restlessness in the mind and the feverishness in the mind. So a little bit of this so what attitude. And then there could be also restlessness in the emotions. That's the fourth kind of restlessness, in the emotions. This happens if something happened which disturbed your peace. Maybe a friend of you said something unpleasant or criticized you. Or somebody else who was unstressing and shouting at you. Maybe unjustly accusing you of something and shouting. So if such things happen, they put our emotions into turmoil. And then you're sitting there, you want to meditate or you want to sleep, you want to be relaxed. And all that is going on is, oh, how dare she say like this? How dare he say like that? This is such an impudence. Let me get my phone and give them a piece of my mind, you know? So all your emotions are in a mess completely. Salad of different feelings. In such a state, it is not a good idea to phone that person and give them a piece of your mind. You can do that when you're relaxed again, but not when you're still disturbed or angry or upset about it. And how do you get rid of these unpleasant emotions after any such thing happened? Through pranayamas, through breathing exercises, and through kriya. We can breathe out these disturbed emotions. That is very easy, you know. It is good if you learn some pranayamas and if you learn some kriya, because these breathing exercises, they remove the restlessness in the emotions. And then whatever has hurt you before, suddenly it loses its validity. It loses its strength or its power over you. It doesn't concern you so much anymore. There's also one exercise with which we can breathe out anger. You know, if you're angry, you have three options. Either you can shout at the next person, and usually if you come home from your job, maybe you had some misunderstanding with your boss or somebody, some superior, and then you come home, you don't shout at your boss, you shout at your wife or your husband or your children. You shout at the family, right? So you let out the stress on somebody else. Is that good? No, of course not. So because then these poor people are sitting there with that stress and that anger. The second option which you have is to suppress the anger. Keep it inside and develop stomach ulcers. Also not good. It's not healthy for you. And the third option is to breathe it out. And that I would like to show you now. It is a very simple exercise which we can do whenever anything has stressed us or made us angry or made us upset, or also in situations where we are nervous. Then we can breathe out these emotions in a very simple way. And we should always do it with a wide open window, because otherwise we breathe in the same emotions again that we don't want. We are actually breathing out toxins from the body, and we don't want to breathe them in again. So one would, in such a moment, one would open the windows wide and then do this exercise for a few minutes, which I will show you now. We breathe in, hold the breath, swing the arms backwards with holding the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still holding the breath, and then forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we breathe out on ha. We come down and with the fifth one and breathe out on ha, and put all our emotions in this ha. Now let us all stand up and do it. Do it together. Get up. Have some space around, that you don't hit yourself. Take a deep breath in. Let's do it together. Wait a moment. Take a deep breath in, hold the breath, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and ha! Very good. Does it feel good? Yeah? Once more. Let's do it once more, otherwise you forget. Okay? Breathe in, hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and ha! So that is called the ha exercise. And with this ha exercise, you can breathe out anger, when feeling upset or feeling nervous. For instance, if one has to pass a test or something and one feels nervous before that, one can also breathe it out. And if it is a big block of anger which is sitting inside, then doing it two, 3 times is not enough. Are you listening? Yes? Okay. So 2, 3 times is not enough. You may have to do it 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. But then you will feel relieved again, and whatever has upset you before is gone. You think, oh, so what? It doesn't matter, you know. This knot here, it is usually in the solar plexus area. This knot is gone, right? And then when you are in a harmonious state again, you're back to your normal, joyful, harmonious self, then you may speak with the other person and say, I think maybe that was not quite correct or whatever. Then you can say things, but say it in a nice and friendly and relaxed way. Does it make sense? Yeah. If somebody makes some comment to you, if that person is all worked up and tense, do you like to take the advice or the criticism? No, no. But if they are relaxed and friendly and polite and just say, oh, maybe we could improve this or that, then you're much more likely to take the advice. And it is the same with other people. We should also remember that nobody makes mistakes willingly or consciously. If anybody makes a mistake, it happens out of unawareness. We also make mistakes sometimes, and then afterwards we say, oh, it happened. It just happened, It's never our fault. So like that, if anybody makes a mistake or upsets you because of something, it just happened to them. They didn't want to make a mistake. We should always keep this in mind. That helps us to let go of these emotions. So that was about emotional restlessness. We can breathe it out with a ha exercise, with pranayamas, and with kriya. And then there is restlessness of the soul. That is the fifth kind of restlessness, the deepest. Restlessness of the soul is something very good. If you have it, you are very blessed. Because this kind of restlessness is the driving force of our evolution. It is that feeling like, is this really everything which is to life? Is life really all about eating, sleeping, earning money, getting children, working? Is that all? Or is there some deeper sense in life? Some deeper truth or some higher truth? Some longing for a higher purpose in life, longing for the divine, longing for God, longing for whatever you want to call it, for enlightenment, longing for something higher in your life, some higher sense. That is the restlessness of the soul. And if you have that, you are very fortunate because this brings you to the spiritual path and carries you along until your goal. And the only thing which can satisfy your soul is meditation and prayer. Meditation and deep prayer. So these are the 5 kinds of restlessness. And in Shakti Yoga, we do all these things. We chant mantras, we chant bhajans, we have kirtans, we are singing and dancing, we are doing yoga, we are having knowledge sessions in the evening in satsang. And we do pranayamas and kriyas, and we do meditation and prayer. All these things are included in this path. So it is also very good to chant mantras for specific purposes. And I saw in the chat that some of you are saying, can I meditate with the Gayatri mantra or some other mantras? No, you cannot. You cannot meditate and transcend with such a long mantra. These mantras, like Gayatri or Triambakam mantra or other long mantras, they are for chanting. There you can take a mala and chant this mantra 108 times. That is different. That is japam. So these are japa mantras. What we use for meditation are bija mantras. They're very short. They're just 1 or 2 syllables, not very long. And with these short mantras, it is much easier to go deep and to transcend into the self. So you can do both, no problem. You can meditate, and after meditation, you can chant your mantra, a longer mantra for japam, if you like. Or you can pray after meditation. Om Namah Shivaya? No. Om Namah Shivaya contains Om, and I spoke about that already, no? That we don't meditate with Om or any mantra which contains Om, because that is a monk's mantra and will take away everything from you. Success in the world, family, friends, everything, because it is meant for renouncing the world. So you may do japam with mantras which contain Om, but you don't meditate with Om. For meditation, we have other bija mantras. And so I just gave you one general mantra, but I would suggest that you get your own personal mantra from a trained teacher. In India, it is Satish. Satish ji, have you given your contact? I hope you did. Mm, what else? Tomorrow we want to do one process which is called Akshatapas. That is a different kind of meditation with open eyes and with an image. For that, we take any image which represents the divine for you. So that image which touches you most, which represents the divine for you, take such a picture or photo in front of you. You may have it on your computer and see it there, or you may have it printed out and look at it. And with such an image, we will meditate tomorrow. So I would suggest that to prepare yourself for that exercise tomorrow, you choose one painting which you like most, which is the divine for you. It could also be, it could be any Deva or Devi. It could also be your guru, whatever is touching your heart most, that you keep. And we will also show this Parashakti Devi tomorrow. Good. Yeah. Are there any questions which we have to go through? Aha. Okay. So many people are asking about Satish's contact. I will copy his phone number and give you. So his phone number is there. And then you can make an appointment with him and get your own personal mantra from him. Good. Oh, he says, I gave my email address above. Very good. Okay, good. Should we end with one prayer tonight? A prayer for peace? I would like to end with one prayer. When we say these prayers, we speak from the divine presence in us, from our higher self, not from our limited little personality. And that is why it is good to do it after meditation, when you have experienced, when you know what you are. Only then you can speak from this I am presence. Almighty I am presence in me, O divine mother in my heart, O beloved great white brotherhood, O heavenly hosts of angels, I invoke and call you with decrees. Shed your light of love and peace upon Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Palestine, and their peoples. Save them from death and destruction. Deliver them from hate and pain that cloud their hearts and minds in vain. Almighty Father and Mother God, I am your child and plead on behalf of my brothers and sisters in all war areas. Let the power of the violet flame, the divine love, divine light, work miracles of transmutation. With these powerful decrees, we bespeak all countries' peace. From my God self I decree means order, I decree, so be it, so it is, and so it shall be. It is done, it is complete, it is sealed, it is concrete. Astu, astu, astu. Jaya, jaya, jaya. So such prayers we are using to help maintain peace in the world and create more peace in the world, and to help to prevent a third world war, which it is very important to do that right now. And another thing which you can do for the same purpose is to chant Om Namah Shivaya. That also has the same effect of spreading peace in the grid of human consciousness around the world. Chanting Om Namah Shivaya or doing japam with Om Namah Shivaya or Om Hrim Dum Durgaya Namaha, Durga mantra, or Om Gam Ganeshaya Namaha, all of them help to spread peace in the world consciousness and to prevent wars. And this is very, very important at this time. So I would really request you to help the world peace by meditating every day, taking some time for yourself. This is good for yourself, for your whole family, and for the peace in the world. Personal peace, family peace, and national and international peace. And also speak such prayers or decrees, and if you want to have them, you can write to me, I will send them to you, and you can do that every day, because this was just one example. Or doing japam of these mantras, Om Namah Shivaya, or Durga mantras, or Ganesha mantras, etc. Yeah, I will give you my email address also. So there you can reach me. And then if you wish, I can answer your questions about meditation. But please, not such a long list of questions, 1 or 2 questions, okay. And I can send you these prayers or decrees for peace. And we use them for not only for peace in the world, but also for personal peace, for our health, for our family members, for success in the world, for everything, for all kinds of things, for your own spiritual development, and so on, so on, so on. So we have many, many prayers and decrees which we can use. And if you like, I can send them to you and you can use them. Good. So that was it for today. Ananda Karunesh, Ananda Ji, would you like to
Thank
say
you.
the
No,
final word?
this was very, very beautiful. Loved everything you said. And tomorrow is very special. Tomorrow, when you do the Akshatapas, it's a direct transmission that can happen because we already are connected to the photos, to the Devis in our homes. We just are trying to deepen that connection. And Ananda Devi's mantras and the music that goes with it. The Devi prayer is like, I think, the world's best chant prayer created. It We just play that and people just get into spirituality, like within 5 minutes, just that song does it. So that we will play with the painting. So please do not miss tomorrow. And it's going to be very beautiful. Ananda Devi Ma is very special. She brings a lot of energy of Lakshmi Ma. And she, you know, there are secrets we cannot tell you, but she's very profoundly connected. So, so please do come tomorrow. And
Anandaji, everybody is very special. And you are
yes,
also very special, having a lot of energy of Kutumi with you.
yes. All are, as Patriji, one of the founders of a lot of people who are here of PSSM, he would say, you're all gods and goddesses.
Yes.
Just that some of us maybe know our higher self a little bit, but each person is from a universe in which their higher self is sovereign, God, goddess. So we're all divine, and we have to um,
Yes.
always remember that. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Let us
yeah.
let us incorporate our divine self more and more into our body, right? For that we are doing all these techniques. So
Yeah.
we can look forward to tomorrow evening at the same time.
8:30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Share more knowledge, do the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important time. This course is very important. If all of us get together, maybe we can even save the world. Such workshops are needed. The
Yes.
intensity of meditation.
We need
And,
more people meditating, doing japam, doing prayers.
and
Many.
what you asked about Gayatri mantra and
Mhm.
all of that is great, but not as your mantra meditation. Chant, sing with it. I sing with Gayatri mantra, I chant it, I play it, I dance with it. So we
Yes.
can do all of that, create joy with the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya, Gayatri mantra, many mantras.
Yeah.
Chanting is
Yeah, for
so,
chanting, for
yeah,
japam. Hmm.
japam. Japam is very great. Japam just clears all the energy.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. So we need to do that. Okay. So
Good.
thank you,
Jai
everybody.
Gurudev. Jai Devi Ma. See you again tomorrow.